This is a recipe for a pasta. It's pretty simple to prepare. We've mentioned this a few times. There's a few different tricks on how to trim the asparagus, and you can go through one by one and bend them and snap them, and you're gonna waste a lot of asparagus that way. That's sort of my pet peeve. You almost snap it in half sometimes. So what I tend to do is it's really only the bottom inch and a half that is kind of fibrous and woody. So just line them all up together and cut off, again, that about 1.5 inches off the bottom, and that's it. Don't waste the rest. That snapping technique, you're gonna waste a lot, and it's gonna take you forever to prep your asparagus. Now the bottoms, although they're too fibrous to eat, this is great for stock. So my vegetable stock, which I made yesterday for the soup, has tons of asparagus in it. If you're not gonna make it stock right away, stick it in the freezer. Put it in a Ziploc bag, stick it in the freezer with your onion scraps and your carrot scraps, and when you have accumulated enough those vegetable scraps, then you can make your vegetable stock. So always try to find a use for every piece of the vegetable. Now these asparagus, we're gonna stick on a baking sheet, pop them in the oven, roast them just until they're cooked nice and soft. Doesn't take long, like 15 minutes. So they become pretty soft like that. You can sprinkle them with a little salt and pepper at that point.
Did you put some olive oil before you roasted?
Yeah, you can put just a little bit of olive oil. You really don't need much at all. And this is going to be pretty much the base for our pesto. So we have our asparagus here. Now, the food processor is sort of your go-to for easy pestos like this. You can use a mortar and pestle. Does anyone have any of these at home? Who actually uses it and just doesn't use it for decoration in the kitchen?
No one uses it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a great tool.
It's okay if you have the energy for it, but if you're feeling fatigued or you don't have a lot of time. I recently got a food processor and it's such a time saver. So I recommend, they're less expensive now. You can get kind of a decent one for around $40 and you'll use it a lot.
Yeah, for sure. And great for recipes like this. So for the pesto, we're gonna start off with the harder ingredients first, work those through, and then start to add the cooked ingredients. So typically, your most traditional Genovese pesto has pine nuts in it, but different pestos have different nuts, and depending on what region you're looking at, they might use walnuts, they might use almonds. This one has almonds, which are fantastic. So we're going to use a little bit of almonds in here, and we're going to pulse those a little bit. Plug it in.
An important step.
Right, a little more. You want them almost like breadcrumbs. Sorry, you almost want them almost like breadcrumbs. You don't want any big chunks in there. So the almonds are done. We're going to add that cooked asparagus.
What a clever way to really, add some vegetables without having to chew away on something that's more fibrous. If you're just kind of having small bites and don't have a lot of an appetite, this is such a great way to pack in some extra nutrition.
For sure. And then basil. We're going to put some fresh basil in here. I've got a nice handful. If you don't like basil, I don't know how many people don't like basil, but if you don't, you can use parsley. It's a little milder, but really nice. Cilantro, maybe? Yeah. I was expecting that.
I think more people like this than cilantro.
I was expecting that. And we're going to add a bit of olive oil here. Now, it looks like a lot.
But you're not going to sit down and eat this entire thing of pesto, probably. It's more of a condiment and an addition to your recipes. And it's a heart-healthy oil, so, as long as you're following a balanced diet, don't need to worry about it so much. And it's going to be one of our other boosters in our pasta. You can always add some more olive oil to get some extra calories in if you need them.
Another one of my favorite ingredients is Parmesan cheese. We talk about Parmesan cheese a lot here because this is a great flavor booster where you don't need to add a lot. You add very little and it goes such a long way. That's in there. The last thing that it's not on the recipe, this is all up to you, is I like a little bit of acidity in my pesto, but I mean, this is entirely up to you. So you can add a little bit of lemon juice if you want. If the acidity from the lemon juice is too strong for you, just use the zest on the outside. You'll get that sort of essential lemon oils without that acid from the juice. So a little bit of that zest is gonna go in. And if you don't know how to remove the zest, you can use a fine grater. Sometimes those box graters have that really fine edge on the outside, and just run your lemon across it, just the yellow on the outside. Don't go too deep to the white part. So that's gonna go in, and we're gonna blend it up. Now, if it's too chunky and you want it a little bit looser, obviously this is where you're gonna add a little bit more. You can add lemon juice or olive oil or even just water just to loosen it up a little bit. So we're gonna go a little more. I'm actually pretty happy with the consistency here. And so there's our pesto.
That's beautiful. What a great color.
And you smell that basil. You smell that asparagus isn't too powerful. It's kind of mild. And this will go right into your pasta. So you can serve it right away. You can freeze this. This freezes really well. Another great recipe to make a big batch of. For the pasta, I cooked this ahead of time. This is sort of a twisted pasta. They give it a few names. Casarecce is one of them, or fusilli. Has everyone heard of fusilli? Sort of the corkscrew. This is more of like a hand corkscrew. Yeah.
Quick twist.
It's a quick twist. Really, really nice.
It
So
looks
I'm just
delicious.
this is already cooked. I'm just gonna toss it with the pesto. And once you cook your pasta, and you can use any sort of, you can use a whole grain pasta. If you didn't want to use pasta, you can even, the pesto is good with anything. So if you wanted to make like a batch of quinoa, you can mix that with there. If you want to do couscous,
Yeah,
you can
any
mix
grain you like, it would work really beautifully.
Absolutely. Okay, so we're gonna add some of this pesto here, right to the pasta. And this is another, I think, comfort food recipe as well. All right, so I'm just tossing it with the pesto. You can keep the spears, so the tips of the asparagus, to sort of garnish it, mix it through. Even some cherry tomatoes are really lovely. And even maybe a little more fresh basil at the end. And that's it. So there's our, now this is a big plate of pasta.
It looks beautiful.
I'll just go a little bit on top. So that's it. So that's the asparagus pesto pasta. Beautiful.
It looks amazing.